Chapter 36. The next day when Ruskin got up, he looked out of his bedroom window to say, "Good morning, Lizard Street," and saw an ambulance parked outside Corky's house. Two men were putting a stretcher in the back of the ambulance. The stretcher had a white sheet over it. For a moment, Ruskin didn't move. He just watched the ambulance, and the two men with the stretcher, and the people of Lizard Street standing nearby. Mr. Lace was there wearing his scarf and sucking pencils. Mrs. Walnut was there smelling of potatoes. Dr. Flowers was there clutching a handkerchief and sneezing noisily. Mr. Flick was there in his green waistcoat with big brass buttons. Mr. and Mrs. Cave were there. Alvis was there bouncing his ball. Sparky was there saying yes sir to Alvis. Everyone was there except... Ruskin saw something on the pavement next to the ambulance. At first he thought it was a long twig, but it wasn't a twig, it was a stick. A walking stick. A walking stick like the other one that belonged to Corky. "Corky," said Ruskin softly, then louder. "Corky!" He ran downstairs. His mum and dad were peering round the front door. "Something's happened to Corky," Ruskin cried. "Don't interfere," said Winston. "He needs me," Ruskin said, pushing past his dad. "It's not my fault," said Winston. Ruskin ran down the street and up to the stretcher. He clutched at the white sheet. "Don't, Ruskin," said Mrs. Walnut. "There's nothing you can do." "It happened early this morning," said Dr. Flowers. "We found him on the pavement," said Mr. Cave. "He was on his way to school," said Mr. Lace. "Must have been a heart attack," said Mrs. Cave. "Yes," they all murmured, "a heart attack." The doors of the ambulance closed and it drove away. The street was very quiet. Ruskin picked up Corky's walking stick and stared at everyone. He was trembling and his eyes were full of tears. Ruskin knew it wasn't a heart attack. He knew that, after all these years, Krindlekrax had finally got Corky. "It's your fault," Ruskin cried. "Every one of you!" And he pointed at Dr. Flowers, saying, "It's your fault because 11 years ago you said the pub side needed painting." Then he pointed at Mr. Lace, saying, "And it's your fault because you suggested Mr. Cave copy a crocodile." Then he pointed at Mr. Flick, saying, "And it's your fault because you agreed with Mr. Lace." Then he pointed at Mr. Cave, saying, "And it's your fault because my dad wanted to be your friend." And he pointed at Mrs. Cave, saying, "And it's your fault because you went to hospital to have Alvis." And he pointed at Mrs. Walnut, saying, "And it's your fault because you fell asleep and let the crocodile escape." Ruskin ran back home. He pushed past his mum and dad and rushed up to the stairs at the top step. He turned round and pointed at his mum, saying, "And it's your fault because you threw toast down the drain." Then he pointed to his dad, saying, "And it's your fault because you stole the crocodile in the first place." Ruskin ran up to his room. He flung open his window. "I hate you, Lizard Street!" he screamed, his voice louder than anyone had ever heard it before. "I hate you, I hate you, I hate you!" Chapter 37. Ruskin lay in bed, spread out across the blankets in front of him were Corky's walking stick, the tin helmet with the torch and the pin from the medal. Tears dripped constantly from Ruskin's eyes. Wendy came up to Ruskin. "Kiss?" she said. "No," Ruskin said. "Tea?" "No." "Toast?" "No." "Baked beans on toast?" "No." "Poached egg on toast?" "No." "Scrambled egg on toast?" "No." "Fried egg on toast?" "No." "Then what do you want?" Wendy asked. "I want Corky back," Ruskin replied. Wendy sat beside Ruskin and stroked his forehead. "He's not coming back, darling," she said. "You've got to understand that. He's dead. We've all got to die sometime. This is just the first time you've experienced it. Corky's body got tired, that's all." "No," Ruskin said. "Krindlekrax got him." "What's Krindlekrax?" "The giant crocodile in the sewers. The one that Dad stole from the zoo. The one that cracks our pavement and scorches our bricks. The one that's been searching for Corky for 11 years. And now it's got him." Wendy shook her head and said, "Oh, Polly Waddle-Doodle all the day. Where do you get these stories from? You must get up. Everyone in Lizard Street is worried about you." "I don't want to see anyone," Ruskin said. "Everything that is me hurts. My toenails hurt. My hair hurts. My teeth hurt. I feel tired all the time. And I can't stop crying. There's an ugly taste in my mouth that I can't get rid of. And when I fall asleep, I dream that Corky is alive and the ambulance was a mistake." "Have some tea," Wendy said. "Then you'll feel better." "I've got some chocolate biscuits." But in the thought of the chocolate biscuits reminded Ruskin of Corky, so he started to cry again. "Corky can't be gone," Ruskin said, weeping. "How can he be gone when he didn't finish the story?"